The sun dipped below the horizon of Hartford, painting the city in hues of twilight. Nestled beneath the bustling streets, nestled in the labyrinthine network of the city's abandoned underground rail tunnels, lay Evil Abe's mechanical lair. It was a cathedral of steel and sparks, alive with the sound of whirring gears and pulsating energy. Tall, steel-framed bookcases filled with blueprints and ancient tomes lined the walls. Glowing tubes filled with neon green liquids crisscrossed the room, illuminating the intricacies of Abe's latest ambitious creation, an army of mechanical alligators. Their gleaming metal bodies shone under the light, their red eyes flickered ominously, awaiting activation. At the center of this technologically advanced chaos was Evil Abe, the maestro of machinery, orchestrating the crescendo of creation. Around him, his loyal henchmen Bullseye and Keymaster worked, each absorbed in their tasks. Bullseye, a gruff man with eyes like a hawk and a hair-trigger precision, was fine-tuning the alligator's targeting systems. His ability to never miss a shot made him perfect for the task. Yet, despite his focused dedication, Bullseye found himself increasingly irked by Keymaster's lackadaisical approach. Keymaster, the lair's locksmith, held the power to create keys for any lock. A light-hearted man with a jovial demeanor, he was busily fashioning complex mechanical keys that would bring the alligators to life. His laughter echoed around the lair, bouncing off the metallic walls and drilling into Bullseye's concentration like a pesky mosquito. "Can't you pipe down, Key?" Bullseye growled, the glare in his eyes as sharp as his namesake. "Some of us are trying to focus here." "Oh, come off it, Bullseye," Keymaster retorted, chuckling. "You'd miss having me around if I wasn't here. Plus, these alligators won't make themselves." Their banter was interrupted by a strange rustling sound echoing through the tunnels. Like a shadow, a figure emerged, dressed in a full ninja attire, a pizza box in hand. It was the Pizza Ninja, the latest sensation in Hartford's food delivery scene. "Well, I'll be," Abe exclaimed, raising an eyebrow at the stealthy figure. They weren't kidding when they said delivering your pizza with ninja-like speed. Fascinating. As the Pizza Ninja silently departed, leaving behind a waft of the enticing aroma of hot cheese and pepperoni, Bullseye and Keymaster looked at Abe, both visibly puzzled. "Since when did we start getting pizza deliveries from ninjas, boss?" Keymaster inquired. Evil Abe merely shrugged, his eyes gleaming with amusement. "It's a new service, started up just a month ago. I thought we could use a bit of fun amidst our plans for chaos." With their hunger sated and tensions eased, the trio resumed their tasks. The lair once again hummed with activity as Evil Abe's plan to shake Hartford began to take shape. The cacophonous symphony of chaos was music to Evil Abe's ears as he stood on top of one of Hartford's tallest buildings, a bird's-eye view of his orchestrated pandemonium below. From this vantage point, the whole city was his mechanized canvas and he, the crafty artist. The metallic alligators, of various sizes, had taken to the streets, their shiny bodies reflecting the street lights. Larger ones roamed about, crashing into buildings, sending bricks and shards of glass flying. The smaller alligators, no bigger than a household cat, chased people, creating a whirl of confusion and fear. Abe's radio buzzed. It was Bullseye, reporting from the ground. "Boss, you should see this. The chaos, it's glorious." "Save some of that glory for me, Bullseye," Keymaster chimed in, his voice filled with amusement. "I've got my keybots unlocking every vehicle on the street. Cars are driving themselves into lampposts." In his hand, Abe held an object that gleamed with otherworldly light. It was a lightsaber, a nod to his fondness for fantastical technology. With a casual flick of his wrist, he activated it. The blade hummed to life, a blue beam of energy casting an ethereal glow against the backdrop of chaos. He swung the weapon, with a deftness that would make a Jedi envious, slicing cleanly through a telephone pole. It fell, its wires sparking as it hit the ground, causing a blackout in the neighboring block. Laughter echoed through the radio. "That's some light show, boss," Bullseye commented, the exhilaration clear in his voice. Spurred on, Abe targeted a parked car. With one swift move, he bisected it, the top half sliding off the bottom to clatter onto the road. The sight was met with cheers from his henchmen, their delight spurring Abe on. Then, the inevitable interruption. The flashing blue and red lights of police cars illuminated the panicked scene. But the law enforcement was vastly underprepared for the onslaught of chaos Abe had unleashed. Under Abe's command, a swarm of miniature alligators, their razor-sharp teeth bared, rushed towards the police officers. Surprised, the officers retreated, their weapons useless against the wave of robotic reptiles. The police station's door closed behind them, leaving the streets to the mercy of Evil Abe and his mechanical monstrosities. Poor chaps didn't stand a chance. Keymasters chortled as the chaos unfolded. "What's the next move, boss?" Evil Abe's grin widened. "Now, we go after the real prize. Let's set the trap for Red." The stage was set. The city, gripped by chaos and fear, was the perfect backdrop for Evil Abe's grand plan to steal Red's powers. The pandemonium was only just beginning.
The frantic cries of Hartford citizens filled the night air. Red and Orangebeard darted through the mayhem, doing their best to keep the panic from escalating. The fiery hero flew through the air, using his heat to melt the alligators into harmless puddles of metal. Orangebeard, on the other hand, was a one-man demolition crew, smashing the mechanical monsters into scrap with his super strength. In the heart of the chaos, Bullseye and Keymaster reveled in the pandemonium they had helped cause. They were about to cause more trouble when Red and Orangebeard intercepted them. A fierce battle ensued, the villains using their powers to full advantage but ultimately being pushed back. Red and Orangebeard saved a group of police officers cornered by a pack of alligators. Red's flames melted the metal alligators while Orangebeard cleared the path, carrying the stunned officers to safety. Meanwhile, Evil Abe had set a cunning trap. In a deserted park, a holographic projection of a young woman screaming for help was being broadcasted. Red, ever the hero, flew towards the cry for help. Orangebeard, occupied with aiding the police force, wasn't with him. Red rushed towards the hologram, ready to save her. But as soon as he reached her, a force field encapsulated him. Try as he might, he couldn't break free. His flames flickered against the force field, dying out each time. His strength seemed to leave him, and he plummeted to the ground, his power of flight abruptly ceasing. From the shadows emerged Evil Abe, a smirk plastered across his face. "Oh, how the mighty have fallen," he quipped, his tone filled with derision. His henchmen appeared behind him, their expressions matching their boss. Evil Abe continued, his words laced with cruelty. "You know, Red, it reminds me of a saying by the OG Lincoln, nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power, or in this case, take it away." Evil Abe walked closer to the incapacitated hero. He reveled in the sight of Red, his eyes wide with shock and fear. "You know, Lincoln also said, I can make more generals, but horses cost money. I guess in your case, it's I can make more heroes, but powers cost time." He let out a laughter that echoed through the deserted park. "And time, Red, is something you do not have." The air grew colder as Red's fiery strength ebbed away, replaced by a chilling helplessness. He had walked into Abe's trap, and now he was powerless. But he wasn't defeated, not yet. For even without his powers, Red was a hero, and heroes always find a way. As Evil Abe reveled in his newfound powers, his grasp on them was tenuous at best. The stolen strength, flight, and fire proved overwhelming to control. He flew erratically around the park, with Red now on foot trying to avoid the villain's aimless flight. Meanwhile, Bullseye and Keymaster were occupied with their mechanical alligators, trying to keep them in check. In his wild flight, Evil Abe lost control of the fire, and a massive flame lashed out, striking Bullseye on the arm. The henchman howled in pain, collapsing on the ground. Abe's eyes widened in shock. He wasn't a murderer, he didn't intend for this to happen. "Bullseye, get out of here," he barked, shocked at the harm he had caused. Keymaster, who had been working on corralling the remaining alligators, glanced up in time to see Bullseye retreating, his arm scorched and raw. He looked to Abe, then to the grounded Red and back again, a determined set to his jaw. Back in the trap, Red was struggling. His strength had left him, but his resolve hadn't. He remembered how Abe had set the trap, the way it activated when he tried to save the woman. In a desperate bid, he repeated the action, lunging at the holographic woman again. To his surprise, the force field flickered and he was freed. As if the trap was a one-time thing, designed only to steal his powers. Meanwhile, a cart of food, with a large bottle of red hot sauce, lay abandoned by the chaos on the street. Spotting it, an idea formed in Red's mind. He dashed towards it, all while avoiding the erratically flying Evil Abe. Evil Abe, struggling to control the flight, saw Red reach the cart. Red seized the bottle of hot sauce and launched it at Abe just as he swooped low. The sauce splattered over Abe. The spicy condiment was a direct counter to Red's powers, and immediately the villain began to descend, his flight becoming erratic. With a gasp of surprise, Abe fell from the sky, crashing into the ground. Red took advantage of his disorientation and landed a swift punch to Abe's face. Kapow! Evil Abe was down, for the count. The last of the mechanical alligators crumbled as Orangebeard arrived on the scene. He'd taken care of the chaos and now was there to help his friend. Seeing Bullseye injured and retreating, he raced forward and apprehended him, while Keymaster, realizing the tide had turned, surrendered. In the aftermath, Evil Abe was put back behind bars, but as always, no jail could hold him. His powers allowed him to escape, leaving a message behind: next time, Red, next time. Despite the threats, Red and Orangebeard couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. They had once again foiled Evil Abe's plans and saved their beloved city.